Welcome everyone to the Eureka Historic Preservation Commission meeting of February the 5th. There's a couple of things on the agenda that we have already done. So if you're following the agenda too closely, we've already elected officers 2 months ago. We have the roll call, please.
Okay, Commissioner Leahy is not with us. Commissioner Fair,
Present.
Commissioner Knight,
Present.
Commissioner Sievertson,
Here.
Commissioner Summers,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
and Commissioner Loring is also not with us.
And we have an oath of office.
Yeah, generally the chair would read this and then the commissioner would, repeat, or you could have me do it if you don't want to do it. You want me to do it? You want to do it? Yes.
No.
Me do it. Okay.
I haven't.
So I am going to read and then you say your name and then I'll read the rest of it. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm reading it for Samantha Summers.
That's me.
And when I say, sorry. Caitlin Castellano here, Deputy Director. I'm not usually up here supporting you guys, but Lisa Savage, Senior Planner, was out unexpectedly. So I'm running the meeting and I'm going to present her project for her. But all right, Samantha. When I say I, you'll just say your name and then I'll read the rest of it. And at the end, you say I will or I do.
Oh.
So I,
Samantha Summers,
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Charter of the City of Eureka, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter in the capacity of Commissioner for the Historic Preservation Committee of the City of Eureka.
I do.
Thank you. We'll just sign this afterwards. Great.
Okay, up next is the approval of the minutes from November 24th and December 4th. And if no one has any objections, we will approve the minutes as presented. It's not how I usually do it, but I'm minimizing my talking. Okay. Approved.
Do they have to do it first and a second? Oh, okay. Okay.
We have no continued public hearings, but we have a new public hearing from the Humboldt Transit Authority on property located at 2125 2nd Street, APN 002-091-010. And the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and approving said project. Presentation, please.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Once again, my name is Caitlin Castellano, and I'm filling in for Senior Planner Lisa Savage today, who could not be here. The applicant, who's the Humboldt Transit Authority, also known as HTA, is requesting approval to remove 2125 2nd Street from the City of Eureka's local register of historic places, also known as the local register. The property was erroneously added to the local register in 97, even though the historic structure on the property was demolished in 1994. So here's a bird's eye view of the location, which is in the northeast side of Eureka, close to Target in the Bridge District. Moving closer, the property is located between 1st and 2nd Streets and V and W Streets. This is the approximate location of 2125 2nd Street outlined in red. That's requested for removal from the register. This property has since been merged with the larger properties you can see surrounding it, 133 V Street, which is outlined in yellow, which houses HTA offices and a bus lot. So a little bit of background. In 1994, the city approved a coastal development permit, CDP 6-94, authorizing HTA to demolish a 1,200 square foot, one-story single-family residence shown here. That was listed as a historic structure on the city's historic list, which was pre-local register. According to Eureka, an architectural review, aka the Green Book, the residence was constructed in 1886 and was described as a one-story frame house. In order for HTA to have received CDP approval for the demolition of this structure, a cultural resource consultant was hired, was hired to evaluate the property, specifically the residence, for its historical significance. The consultant found that, quote, due to exterior modifications and the radical remodeling of the interior spaces, all of the exterior fabric has been removed and the building no longer retains its architectural integrity. Based on this report, the CDP was granted and the building was demolished at the end of June of 1994. Subsequently, in 1997, the city established the local register, or when they did, and then in 2021 was added to the register, even though the historic residence no longer existed on the property. So Title 10, Chapter 157 of the Eureka Municipal Code, specifically Section 157.004A, specifies that a property shall cease to be designated property following written application by the owner and a determination that a significant error was made during the designation process. A significant error means the property was listed in error because at the time it was listed, it did not possess sufficient historical or architectural attributes to qualify for listing. The applicant filed a written application in November of last year, requesting the property cease to be designated. The city has made a significant error by listing a property with a structure that does not exist. Therefore, the applicant has met the criteria to have the designated property removed from the local register. As documented in the staff report, staff recommends you hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and approving the removal request. I have a suggested motion, but I can stop screen sharing for the discussion, and HTA staff, the general manager and transportation planner are here to help answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff? Seeing none, is there an applicant here that would like to speak to this project?
Good afternoon, Commission. My name's Thanks. Good afternoon. My name's Greg Pratt. I'm the general manager at Humboldt Transit, also the applicant. I really don't have anything to add to the staff report, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the project.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to this project? Okay, then we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commissioners. What is your preference?
I could feel compelled to make a motion.
Thank you very much.
Can I say something before you say the motion? I just want to say that it's just sad to me that somehow this seems like a mix-up, but that there was a historical structure, and I feel like it's almost erasing its relevance and that there was something there. And so, I mean, obviously it's not there anymore and it's too late, but this is why I'm here and why I think this commission is relevant. And so I just wanted to say that.
And if we have a motion and a second, we can have some more discussion about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Summers. I'm going to move the Historic Preservation Commission adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and approving the removal of 2125 2nd Street from the local register of historic places.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you both very much. I'm not sure if Eureka, I've been on historic preservation commissions in San Luis Obispo and Santa Cruz. Sometimes we placed a plaque where the property had been. I don't know if that's something we do here in Eureka or not.
I think there have been plaques. I mean, I know in Old Town, I see them all the time in the federal district, but I am not sure. I will write down that question and we'll get back to you at the next meeting.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. Any other questions or comments?
I think that's a great idea. If we're going to remove the structure so that it's essentially not there, at least marking it so that we can keep track and know would just honor the idea of its historicness.
I certainly like that. Okay, so let's call for the question here. All those in favor, do we need a roll call vote on this?
You don't have to, no.
No. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye, or can we vote?
Aye.
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 And nay, or abstentions? None. Okay. The staff will explain to you the process, the rest of the process, as far as what goes forward, and maybe we can have a little discussion about a plaque of some kind. I would appreciate it very much.
Sure. So the next steps is there is a 10-day appeal period if anyone wants to object this being removed, that they can appeal to the city council. If not, then it's been removed from the register. We'll update our list online. And then you can proceed with your plans.
Thank you.
We'd be happy to put a plaque up too.
Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. Moving on. Old business, we have none. New business, we have none. I don't believe there's any director's reports or communications, are there? Other reports and communications?
Actually, I take it back. We do have a couple new planners that just started this week, and they're in the audience. And we have Taylor and Henry. You guys want to wave? They're both assistant planners. One is a temp assistant planner. So we're happy to have them.
You're very welcome to the cold, windy weather we've been having. I was asked up here why I moved from San Luis Obispo to here, and the discussion was about the weather and climate, and I taught climatology. And I used to tell my students all the time that I'm going to move to some place where the highest official temperature has ever been is 87. San Luis Obispo, since I left there when I retired, is getting up into the hundreds now. And nobody has air conditioning. You know, it's just, we still have 87 as the highest official recorded temperature that there is. Okay, public comment period. This section of the meeting provides commissioners and the public an opportunity to address the commission on any subject not appearing on the agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Historic Preservation Commission cannot take action on any item that does not appear on the agenda. Pursuant to the Historic Preservation Commission minute order dated January 5th, 2005, Historic Preservation Commission policy is to limit each speaker to 5 minutes. Such time allotment or portion thereof shall not be transferred to other speakers. Is there anyone on Zoom or in the audience that would like to speak?
I have a comment I'd like to make, actually. A few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, I got a chance to meet with some of the staff members out at a house on K Street, about windows. And it struck me that we're lacking in resources in our community for folks that are having trouble financially taking care of the historic homes that they inhabit and own. And that while there are solutions, my construction company in particular can make storm windows or replace existing wood windows with replicas. It comes with a cost. And we don't have a training facility anymore either. And we've had great success with the window workshop that Bill Hole and some others put on. But it strikes me that we, since we're a certified local government commission, and we have a community full of beautiful historic houses, and we have some knowledge left, finding an organization that can create some kind of a wood window repair training program that could potentially do repairs in community for folks that can't afford to hire a contractor would be a great effort for us to back and maybe participate in.
That's an excellent point, and it's one we did in Santa Cruz. Myself as a contractor, I did a workshop several times. I know Bob Felter and Bill Hold did one out at the Timber Heritage Association. It's not something that costs very much, maybe some copy things or stuff like that. And certainly people need to understand that wood windows will be around long before we're all gone, or long after we're all gone, rather. That one of the applicants that was in here about 3 months ago, she asked me to come over to her house, and I went over and she said, I have put in dual pane windows 3 times. And do you know anybody that will do wood windows that look original? And I'm not sure if Woodcrafters still does it. Jeremy out there at, nope.
Dan Jones, who used to work with his uncle Cliff Jones at CJ Sash, is now working with Shawnee Alexandria at Humboldt Bay Window and Door, and they also operate a millwork company out behind Almquist. Mm-hmm. So they certainly do create new redwood sash windows, and they do casements and other styles. They primarily install double pane glass inside them, so they have a different balance system.
Well, maybe at the next meeting, unfortunately I won't be here, maybe at the next meeting we can look into a couple things in the interim and get a report back about the possibilities of doing a workshop or two, some particularly on windows or something like that. And some people will, I'm sure, volunteer to work with staff or the city to move it forward.
Yeah, I have to formally, okay. At the last meeting, Lisa Savage brought up applying for grants, and one of those topics was windows and providing, I don't know if it would be a slush fund or it would be something to establish a workshop program, but I've since talked to a couple of people in my neighborhood, and that's come up along with about 3 other items. In fact, I thought you were going to, do I have that wrong or misremembering that you might be looking into grant topics for Lisa?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up later, that I've been writing down and researching a lot of different grants and everything that might be available, whether it's through the state parks or the national,
Okay.
what do you want to call it? The California State Parks, the Office of Historic Preservation, or there's stuff there for competitive grants, programs, the National Park Service, and everything. I've never written a grant, so that I need a little help with that, but I've got a whole bunch of links saved, written out, bookmarked, everything else, and it's just trying to find the right search word in order to apply for the right grant that's out there. Because if you just type in historical or whatever, I mean, you're going to get 3,000 different things, and then of course you have to search by state and everything. And there's one website that's really good for the grants. It's called grantplus.com. But the problem with it is that you have to pay for their service before you can even look at the grant or apply for the grant, and they range between $14 to $200 to just register and everything. So that's the rough part, because they have a whole bunch of stuff listed. I mean, there's like over $1 billion worth of grants nationwide that can be given out, but it's just, what do we apply for? How can we narrow it down?
I was under the impression that Lisa Savage was offering services here. Oh, I'm sorry. I was under the impression that Lisa was offering services here at the city of Eureka with helping to write the grant. It was just what was going to be the purpose of the grant was her question, and she wanted us to think about that. I've talked to a couple people in my neighborhood. I had a few ideas that I was going to discuss with you maybe after the meeting. Okay.
Yeah, because I know we have to have one completed by the April meeting in order to get it ready and submitted by June 7th.
Well, one option, yes, go ahead. Please, Gabe.
Was it just you that were working on it? Because you could form a subcommittee of, I believe, at least two of you, and then it won't be a conflict. And then you can come and meet with city staff. We can set up a time to discuss all this and help you formulate what the grant would entail, like the language for it. I mean, I think I kind of kicked this off. I was the person who had gotten the gentleman who had really wanted to replace the windows, and that was when Commissioner Hurley, he came out, and he kept being offered RCAA grants to replace the windows for free, but it was not, it was with the new vinyl one. So I think the need for specific funding just for windows, like even if we're just going for grant funding for the windows, that's going to make a huge impact in our community. So I would recommend that should be the focus. That's my opinion.
I'd be willing to join your subcommittee.
Good, because so far it's just me.
Okay, great. And then Commissioner Severson, as the chair, you can say I now appoint Commissioner Hurley and Commissioner Smith as a
You are
subcommittee.
now appointed as the grant committee. And
Okay.
I don't know if Coast Central, I know they do grants for governmental agencies, but it tends to be in the medical field, like fire departments and stuff like that, but twice a year. And right now on television, they had an ad, and I filled them out. They are just one page, so simple kind of thing to fill out. And if you don't get it, they still allow you to, they still tell you about it and are willing to talk to you about it. If you just look it up, and it's from 5,000 to 25,000, I think it is, something like that.
Is that a grant or is that a loan?
No, it's a grant.
Okay, which would probably help a couple of people, but yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, they do it March and August deadlines, I think it is. And the person that is in charge of it is on the second floor, their main building over there. She's a really nice person. She's more than happy to have people come in and chat with her. And
Well, thank you for that. I think next steps, Senior Planner Savage should be back in the office next week, and then I can have her reach out to you too, and we can get a meeting started to see how we want to kick this off. And then we'll report back a status at the next meeting.
okay. Is there any other business besides L, which is adjournment? So we are adjourned at 4:25. Thank you all very much.